Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat Tucker.
And that was your last.
Damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
So, I can explain the bed thing.
If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake. Crawl there.
It's like Jesus going into the temple. He's like, I got a whip. Get out! Get out! The lovely and wonderful Megan Fox. Not that one.
Not that one. Not the weird one that drinks blood in his toe thumbs.
Megan Fox.
Megan. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
She's the devil.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy sh!
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's.
You pissed off the wrong woman.
Oh my God! I have been assaulted when Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother.
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
The story.
I'm Megan Fox. Thank you. Cheers.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or whatever. Yes, today is the day we stop turning the frogs gay. We hope. Veteran Nation, that was funny. We have to talk about Peanut. We have to talk about Peanut and Fred today, because in this stupid state of New York where I unfortunately live, there's some shit going down. There is some serious shit going down. Oh, I just realized I didn't set things correctly. Hold, please. I have to turn the monetization on. I wonder if it's a problem. I've already sworn in the first under 2 minutes. Save. All right. We're going to try. We're going to turn it on. We're going to try to keep it on. What's on my head? Well, it's a clip. My roots are not dry yet. So I clip them up so that when they do dry, they don't just sit flat on my head, but they're not quite dry yet. So you're just going to have to put up with the clip on top of my head. They should dry sometime during this program. And then, yeah. So you're just going to have to put up with it. Peanut has already voted 3 times today. That's right, MG Law. Peanut, he may not be with us, but he is in the voting polls in New York, I'm sure. By the way, Patrick W. says New York State is now a peanut-free zone. Thanks for the super chat, Patrick. And also, Peanut died on Thursday and voted Democrat on Friday. That is generally how these things go. One of the funniest things... Okay, those of you who don't know who the hell Peanut and Fred are, let me try and give you the rundown of this story. So I think that I am going to show you. I'm not wearing a taco on my head. It's a clip, for crying out loud. Can you people calm down? My roots are still wet. And if I let them dry without a clip, they're going to I don't know. They're going to be like all not enough volume or something. It's looking pretty silly anyway. All right, fine. I'll leave it out because you guys cannot concentrate if I have a clip on my head. All right, let's go to the beginning of this story, shall we? It is disgraceful what the state of New York has been up to. Absolutely disgraceful. And the government, I have other stories for you today regarding other animals that were executed by state governments illegally and wrongfully. This is a bigger problem than anybody knows. So let us meet these animals first so that we know who we are talking about. And it wasn't just Peanut the squirrel, but Fred the raccoon. And oh my God, Fred is so cute. You guys, so cute. You have no idea. So we're going to meet Fred. Let's meet Fred. Oh no, I have to turn the music off. I don't want Taylor Swift getting me copyrighted. All right, there's Fred. So sweet. Baby Fred in a blankie. Just hanging out in a blankie. Little Fred. Fred the raccoon. And Peanut the squirrel. Now, Peanut the squirrel's family has a TikTok or an Instagram or whatever, and the animals were quite famous. Peanut had over a couple million followers on Instagram. And these two, their husband and wife, and they have an OnlyFans page. And this bit of information that they have an OnlyFans page and they're making a bunch of money doing OnlyFans, pornography, if you will, is the thing that people think we should be upset about. And like the squirrel deserved it. The squirrel and the raccoon deserved it because its parents had an OnlyFans page. I mean, listen, even if the squirrel and the raccoon were being used in the OnlyFans page, they still executed the wrong living beings. I mean, if those people were abusing the animals in some way, which no one is saying that they were, but that's what people are joking about. Like, well, was he using the squirrel and the OnlyFans? Well, if so, then he's the one who should go to jail. And why should the animals be put down?
Right to jail, right away.
That's right. They have an animal rescue farm. Apparently they made $800,000 on their OnlyFans that allowed them to buy this rescue farm. And look, I think it's really stupid to have OnlyFans, but I'm not going to tell people what to do. And in this economy, I'm not even shocked that more and more people are turning to OnlyFans. I mean, the price of eggs is outrageous. Everything's outrageous. So I have nothing to say about any of that. That's their business. They're adults. Too much government is right. All right, let me get back into my Twitter. All right, this is another incredibly adorable video of Fred. Wait, is this not the video? No, I guess this is just a picture. But there is a video of Fred eating a Dunkin' Donuts puppuccino or whatever, a little cup of, what's the word? What is that stuff? Why can't I think of it? Whipped cream. And it's so cute. He's so cute. Both of these animals were rescued by these two. They I know they at least tried to get Peanut to go back into the wild, but Peanut kept coming back, and then he came back with an injury, and so then they just kept him. Now, in the state of New York, you're supposed to have a license to keep, of course, you have to go get a license to keep. In fact, when I went to vote this morning, I get to the voting poll station thing, and it's at the town hall. And I walk in the doors, and the very first thing I see is a sign that says, license your dog. And I'm like, I didn't know we had to do that. We have to license our dog here. And just for the the animal control that kicks in your door and seizes your animals and puts them to death, I'm sure that I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I have that license. You better believe I have it. But here's the thing. You don't even know in New York what you're supposed to do. Like, no one tells you when you go buy a puppy or whatever, oh, make sure you get it licensed. Or, you know, the government goons will kick in your dog and take your dog or whatever, or your squirrel or whatever. Apparently, you need to have a license for a squirrel or a raccoon for them to be living with you, which is bizarre because I have like, I don't know, maybe 150 squirrels living with me right now in my backyard. They're living with my chicken. Do I need a license for my chickens too? I don't have that. I mean, maybe I do. Be careful what I say online because I'm not sure what the state of New York is going to do about it. I don't know. I'm just saying. No one tells you. Like, I've brought my dog to so many different, vets over the years. And I've never had a vet say to me, did you get your dog licensed? And yet I walk into the town hall this morning and there's a big sign that says license your dog. So is it required or isn't it? Skipper Veteran Nation, thanks to the super chat. Can I see your squirrel license? Yeah. Terrible. Shade 85, thanks to the 2. What's your email? I got a story for you. My email is meganfox.writer@protonmail.com. Yeah. Megan's going to get a knock on the door in 3, 2, 1. Worse, the guy who's responsible for this is my guy. So this happened in Chemung County, and that county happens to be in our zone. Our county is in the same zone. It's zone 8 or whatever. So the squirrel killer oversees my county too. Mm-hmm. His name is Tim Walsh. He seems like a real loser, this guy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But they're claiming they're getting threats like they always do. So the government is upset that people are sending strongly worded emails. They're very, very upset. All right, I'm trying to go back to the beginning of my, oh my God, I sent out a lot of tweets about this. It really pissed me off. If you're not following me on Twitter, you should be at Megan Fox Writer on Twitter. All right, let's watch a little video of Peanut and Peanut's owner, who really is wearing his pants way too tight. I mean, come on, dude. What's with these pants? I can't play the music because it's copyrighted. But what's with these pants? What the hell? I mean, this squirrel is so cute. This guy wears his pants 3 sizes too small. Very cute squirrel. I mean, who is this squirrel bothering exactly? Who are these people? Who are they hurting having a squirrel in their own house? Yeah. Free country, they keep telling us, while they regulate and tax everything. Oh, look, he's finally wearing pants that fit. Oh, good for you, sir. All right. So apparently he used the squirrel to like push people over to his OnlyFans. And like, I don't care about that. Was the squirrel taken care of? Was the squirrel, is the squirrel being treated well? That's really all that matters. The rest of it is none of our business. And it's not the government's business either, what he does to make money. So the thing is that these laws in New York are a total joke. Here's the law that we're talking about. Let's bring this up. According to search results, New York State has strict laws prohibiting the possession of wild animals, including squirrels, as pets. Specifically, New York's Fish and Wildlife Law, as mentioned in the snippet, Can You Have a Pet Squirrel in New York, states that no person is allowed to possess knowingly, sell, harbor, barter, exchange, import, or transfer any wild animal to have as a pet in New York State. The only exception is for individuals who already had a squirrel as a pet before this section of the law went into effect. But they must meet certain conditions, such as not having been convicted of animal cruelty or under a court order prohibiting animal possession. If you attempt to keep a pet squirrel in New York State without meeting the above exception, you may face consequences, including seizure of the animal by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, as seen in the case of Peanut the squirrel, potential euthanization of the animal, as claimed by Peanut's owner. Now, here's the thing. What's the definition of a wild animal? Because that squirrel was completely domesticated. And if the language of the law says you can't have a wild animal, well, it wasn't wild, and neither was the raccoon. Look at these puds. This is the kind of guy who works at the DEC, by the way. He has to say...
Hey folks, Sean Mahar here, Interim Commissioner of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, with an exciting announcement on how we're growing the next generation of forests here in New York.
With some exciting information on how we're growing our ability to knock in your door, seize your shit, interrogate your wife, all for a friggin' squirrel.
New York State. Thanks to a partnership with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we have $4.5 million that we're putting in a new grant program called Establishing Large Forests in New York.
$4.5 million they gave these people to establish more woods in New York. Look, I live in New York. There's a lot of forests. I'm in the middle of one right now. It doesn't really need anybody's help. It just grows. But I don't know what the hell this is.
This exciting program will target...
It's exciting, though. It's an exciting program.
...funding to landowners of 5 acres or larger who can help us restore forests in the state and help us reach our 25 million tree goal. Take a look at dec.ny.gov.
If New York, New York needs a lot of things. More trees is probably not one of them. I mean, I have nothing against trees, but look, this place is very forested.
For more information on this exciting new program, and we really look forward to getting these trees planted on our landscape.
And then we really look forward to kicking in your door later and taking your pet squirrel and traumatizing all of New York. Actually, all of the world is traumatized by this. The entire damn world is traumatized by the murdering of an innocent squirrel. But this guy's very excited about his $4.5 million tree project. Okay. All right, buddy. It is absolutely a joke. This is a joke. Let me go back. I want to pull up the TMZ. The memes are epic. On the New York DEC's Twitter, people are posting these going, is this you? For those of you who don't get the reference, Elian Gonzalez. This was the Elian Gonzalez raid when they came for a little boy who escaped Cuba to send him back to Cuba. Ridiculous. And as you can see, Peanut has been photoshopped where Elian was. All right, let's see. I got to go way back. Oh, God. There's so much. We're never going to get through my... We're never going to get through all my posts. I didn't realize I posted this many. Oh, God. Where's the TMZ? Here it is. This is what we want.
Euthanized Peanut.
And
we just learned that they have euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well.
Look at Harvey. Harvey, look at Harvey's face. Harvey's like, holy shit. This is bad. It is bad. It's bad. Really bad.
I am so sorry. This must be really difficult for you.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. and 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there like a criminal after they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status.
Whoa. I mean, come on. You've got to be kidding me. First of all, these people care about the care of creatures, supposedly. They're conservationists, the New York Department of Conservation, and they wouldn't let this man feed his horses for 5 hours. So they missed breakfast and they missed lunch. They missed breakfast and lunch because of the New York DEC. Then they interrogated his wife about her immigration status. Let me ask you something. What does the New York Department of Conservation have to do with immigration at all? I mean, part of me everyone's gone crazy about this going, oh my God, like New York doesn't have other things to do. Like, deal with the illegal immigrants that are flooding into the state. That's true. But this is a different department. This is the Department of Conservation. So technically, squirrels, wild animals, that is their department. So they are doing their job when it comes to squirrels and animals, etc. But they are not doing their job when they start interrogating her about her immigration status. And, you got to ask the question, is it because she's white? Because she's immigrated from Germany? Would they have asked her any questions about her immigration status if she was Hispanic? I mean, come on. Does anyone believe that any government official in New York would interrogate somebody about their immigration status if they looked Hispanic? Because they sure as hell don't care if you're Hispanic, where you're from, or if you're here legally. They do not care. They have an entire hotel set up now. I was waiting tables over the summer, and the restaurant where I worked, there were lots of vacationers that would come there. And I had this one table who was like, we had to move our hotel. We were in Rochester, but we decided to come out here instead because our hotel was overrun with illegals. And it appeared to be like drug lords. It looked like the cartel. They're telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, which hotel? And I was going to go down there with a camera. And then I thought, I need security to go with me to do that. But this is what's happening all over every city in America. Hotels are being taken over to house illegal immigrants who have crossed over the border illegally. And nobody's doing anything about that. But we have an entire government agency who has enough time on its hands to terrorize an animal rescue farm for 5 hours and interrogate his wife about her immigration status. And they don't even work for immigration. Like, that is not your business. I can understand them wanting to get to the bottom of some kind of wildlife thing. But when you start bringing in immigration status, you're the wrong department. Somebody ought to lose their job for that. They all y'all better lose your jobs for that.
Then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house. Then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon.
Okay, this is so bad that even Governor Cuomo, former Governor Cuomo, is trolling Kathy Hochul about it. I just saw that this morning. Andrew Cuomo is trolling Hochul, saying this is what happens when nobody's at the wheel. you get, and he said this should have been on somebody's desk who looked at it and went, this is bullshit. Oh, we'll get to it. We know what judge signed off on it.
And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this, for 7 years? Why now?
No, Rogue Mama, is that true? Rumor is there were people in the department who were clutching their pearls over the porn. That will make me so angry. And you know I don't like OnlyFans, and I don't think people ought to be doing OnlyFans, and I think it's terrible that that's how people are making their money. However, it is also a terrible economy. There's a bunch of reasons why people do what they do, and this is America, so they can do what they want. If it's true that the department used their OnlyFans as some kind of reason to murder their pets, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. My God. I hope that's not true.
Suddenly did they show up with their search warrants and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal. We had him for 7.5 years. He became the world's most famous squirrel. We weren't hiding him by any means. He was all over TikTok. He became the first squirrel on TikTok to ever hit 1 million followers.
All right, guys, before you go nuts about the woman you think is responsible for this in Texas, I'm not sure and can't be verified that she is responsible for it. I'm hearing that she says she has been falsely accused of this. So we can't verify it. We are not going to be saying her name here. And anyway, regardless of who called in on this guy, regardless of who called it in and said, there's a squirrel, this guy has a squirrel, because it could have been anybody. He had 1 million followers. It could have been anybody. That's not the person who's at fault. The person at fault is the person who signed off on killing these animals in the government office. Those are the people who are at fault, because they could have taken that phone call and been like, okay, that's an angry Karen who we don't need to listen to, but we'll go out and we'll check and we'll talk to the guy and make sure that he has all his paperwork. That's what they should have done. They could go knock on the door nicely and say, excuse me, sir, we've been told you have a squirrel and a raccoon. And if you do, I just want to tell you that you need to have certain paperwork filled out, or you can face consequence where we seize the animals and put them to death. So I would advise you to fill out this paperwork and make sure you get it turned in. That would be the reasonable thing to do. Because I understand you have laws. They're stupid laws. These laws shouldn't even exist. Why the hell can't people keep a squirrel or a raccoon? First of all, squirrels do not transmit rabies. That's a lie. So them putting the squirrel to death to do a rabies test, well, that was a lie, because we'll see if I can find it in my Twitter feed. New York's own laws say that if you're bitten by a squirrel, you do not have to report it for the rabies, because they don't transfer rabies to people. So it can't be that. So the government's already lying to us about why they killed Peanut. There was no reason. They claimed that Peanut bit one of their rescuers, and so they had to put him down. They don't say why they had to put Fred down, but they did. Also, raccoons are at a very low risk for transferring rabies as well. They're not only at a low risk for transferring them, but they're at a low risk for even having it. So when it comes to squirrels, though, the New York State says you don't even need to call if you get bit by a squirrel. You're fine. Just put a fucking Band-Aid on it and call it a day. Oh, you're going to like this. Kevin says if the bite isn't on the body cam, it didn't happen. Oh, no, Kevin, they turned off their body cams. There is no body cam footage. They turned it off. They should all go to jail. Straight to jail.
Right to jail. Right away.
They knew how bad this was, and they did it anyway.
He did every news station around the world. He's helped people. He's helped kids gather joy. And then we started a nonprofit animal rescue called
Peanuts that's your problem.
Farm to help animals.
That's your problem, sir. You're not allowed to. Children in New York are not allowed to have joy. The second children in New York start feeling joy, the government smacks it down. They stick masks on their faces and they rope off the playgrounds. Children in New York are not allowed to have any fun. So that was your first mistake. Providing joy to children. Kathy Hochul hates children, hates them. Our children aren't allowed to do anything here. So that could be part of the reason why you're having this issue. Anything that brings joy to children is illegal in New York.
Like Peanut fight a good fight when they're in a neglected case or they're sitting in a slaughter auction. And he was the cornerstone of our life and our organization. We used his platform to help raise money for the 300 animals we have at our sanctuary.
All right, so that was the TMZ interview, which I thought was shocking as far as what they did to these people, making a 5-hour raid. What? For what? Okay, let's see.
We just learned.
Okay, and then hilariously, because a bunch of Trump people jumped on the political bandwagon, were like, this is why you have to vote Trump, because these are Democrats that did this. There was tons of people saying, you don't know that Democrats did this. And it's like, look, people, I live in New York. I live in the boonies in New York. I live way out in rural New York where you would think Republicans would be. No, there's nowhere you can go in New York that isn't run by Democrats. Just please stop with that stupid argument. Yes, these are all Democrat government offices. These are all run by Democrats here. And if you find one where a Republican is in charge, you'll find out that mostly they agree with Democrats about 80% of the time, because a New York Republican is not really a Republican. All right, so there were many memes to be had. This one was pretty funny. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're killing the squirrels. That one was pretty good. What else do we have? Oh, yes. I found out that Peanut fought back. So Peanut did allegedly bite someone who took him from his home. And I was glad to hear that, because somebody ought to feel some pain from that office. Now, this is funny. Look at this headline. How a squirrel became a rallying cry of the far right. After the lawful removal of an illegal pet in New York, right-wing activists call to arms. So now it's far right to love furry little woodland creatures, guys. That's your far right if you love furry little woodland creatures and don't think they should be executed by the jackboots at the state. Now, if any of you saw this alleged statement by Donald Trump about Peanut, it did turn out to be fake. And I'm so sorry that it did, because it was hilarious. He has not, to my knowledge, made a comment on it, but Elon Musk did. Elon's been all over it. He tweeted out, Twitter is for Peanut today, a couple days ago. That was great. And he also made a lot of commentary about how big the government is and how it's way too big and how he wants to help cut it down. And I agree. I think we should put Elon in charge of that. I mean, look what he did at Twitter. He has been running Twitter on a bare bones operation. The first thing he did when he got in there was just start firing people. He just fired all these departments, and he's running Twitter with a fraction of the people that were running it before. And if you've got to admit, Twitter is way more fun now. Now look at this. Here's a couple of stories are popping up. A Midwestern doctor replied to me on Twitter and said something very similar to this happened to me. I found an injured squirrel, got it to trust me, gradually rehabilitated it, and then asked a wildlife center for help. And they immediately confiscated it and euthanized it because squirrels shouldn't like people. So if it does, it's only because it's in immense pain and needs to be put out of its misery. I did everything I could to overturn that decision, but there was nothing I could do. I felt horrible for months over it. The squirrel really trusted me, and I can only imagine what it's like for this guy. And then people are posting pictures of their rescue squirrels, and I'm like, stop doing that. The government's going to come and kill them. So yeah, if you have a rescue squirrel, please don't tell the government. Elon tweeted this out. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Obi Peanut Kenobi. Oh, here's that adorable video of Fred. Here's the adorable video of Fred having his whipped cream puppuccino. Aww, raccoonachino. Poor Fred. Why would you do this to Fred? I do feel like this is some kind of discrimination against these two, maybe because they had an OnlyFans account. I don't know. Like, like who are these people hurting? He's like the happiest little squirrel on earth. And now he's dead. Because the state of New York couldn't just work with these people and get them the proper licensing? And it turns out that the owner he was in the process of getting Peanut certified as an educational animal, which also would have protected him. So, then they killed Peanut the squirrel. It all changed after that. All right, so we found the guy responsible in the local office. His name is Tim Walsh. So the New York, if you want to go troll the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, it's at NYSDEC. At NYSDEC on Twitter. You can go troll the shit out of them because they deserve it. They're the government. By the way, I always say on this program, you never contact anybody we talk about unless they're government jackboots, and then you have a right as American citizens or citizens of the world to contact these people because they work for tax dollars. And you have a right to go troll the shit out of them on Twitter if you want to. Go ahead. Go troll the shit out of them on Twitter. They deserve it. Let's actually see some of the trolling on Twitter. Let's see. Here we go. New York State Department. If we go over this poor guy, we don't know if he had anything to do with it, but they're getting trolled and like to hell. Your department wastes money killing people's pets. Rotten hell. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. You people are evil. Why did you kill Peanut? Rest in peace, Fred. You're horrible, sick, evil people. Yes. Kill any squirrels and raccoons for no reason recently? Look at this one. Love killing squirrels and raccoons, eh? Change your logo. Shame on you for barging into a man's home like a SWAT team, kidnapping his pet and killing it. New York State is wholly authoritarian, and this proves that. You people are communist scum. Do you get off murdering innocent animals? So you can see there's a lot of trolling going on, and feel free to join in because Twitter is a free platform. You're allowed to say what you think on Twitter. I mean, they're getting it, and they haven't turned off their Twitter yet. I'm kind of shocked. They have not made any statement. They are complaining about being bullied, though, and we're going to get to that. All right, so this is the guy right here. Here he is, Tim Walsh. So, wait, let me open in a new. This is Tim Walsh in the green. No, not that guy. That's just some poor. What did I do? This guy over here. Why can't I move to the right? There we go. All right. This guy in the green with the weird villain mustache and the strange eyebrows. This is Tim Walsh. He is the Chemung County or County, what do they call it? Zone 8 director. So he had to have signed off on this. This is the guy right here with the little dicky weird thing around his neck. He's one of those guys that carries his phone on his belt. Oh, wait, you can't see what I'm looking at. Here we go. This guy. He carries his phone on his belt. He's got this douchebaggy thing around his neck with his ID tag. Men who carry their phones on their belts, I don't know. it's a look. But he's the guy. He's the guy who signed off on it, Tim Walsh. Tim Walsh should get some strongly worded emails too. Obviously, don't make any stupid threats that'll have them kicking in your door. Don't do that. That would be dumb. But you can certainly tell them what you think about what they've done. Because what they've done is really bad and shitty. And they should not have done it. All right, let me get out of here. Go back. All right. Yeah, Region 8. Yes, so he is the regional director of Region 8, which covers Chemung County, which is where this happened, in some place called Pine City. So, if you want to know somebody you can write a letter to, that would be Tim Walsh. But I'm not sure if he's the only one responsible. There's probably others. It sounded like when he said there were 4 departments. Oh no, Starcasm. You said you followed Peanut for years on Instagram. Oh, I had never heard of Peanut before, but I mean, it only takes like 30 seconds of watching those videos to be like, oh, that's the cutest squirrel ever. Yes, you do have a right to redress your grievances. Yes, you do. And the Supreme Court has affirmed that the government has no right to complain about your salty language either. So when you do redress your grievances, if you want to drop some F-bombs, you're perfectly allowed to do it, says the Supreme Court. Department of Government. Okay, so this made me laugh. Let me get over here. So Elon also put this up. The Department of Government Efficiency. It's him and Ron Paul. What would you say you do here? Oh, I have that button.
What would you say you do here?
This is the greatest thing ever. Okay, so this is one reason why you might want to consider voting for Trump, because Trump has told Elon Musk he wants him to be a part of his administration, and Elon this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to be in charge of cutting and slashing needless departments. Well, hello, now we know why that's needed, because the New York Department of Conservation is running around killing people's pets needlessly, wasting taxpayer dollars. Is anybody safer? Let me ask this. Is anybody safer today because Peanut and Fred are dead? I would argue that we're all a little unsafer. You know why we're unsafer? Because there are millions of people right now who are so pissed off at the government, it could get nasty. You know, it could get so I'd say they made us less safe by doing what they did. They made us less safe. They put us one step closer to the next American Revolution. Thanks a lot. You know, some of us don't want that. But the government keeps doing things, and there will be a point where people won't put up with it anymore. And I hate that. I wish they would just get their shit together. Stop killing people's pets. Like, I'm standing here going, why don't you see what you're doing? You're inflaming people. You're inflaming people for no reason. You're making them hate you. And when you make the American people hate you long enough, and they can't tolerate it anymore, history shows what happens, and it's not pretty. And it would be so funny if in the history books hundreds of years from now, the Second American Revolution was kicked off over a squirrel. That would be funny. It has a little poetry to it. The first time it was tea, and the second time they came for the squirrels. I mean, it is a little nuts. But yeah, the bureaucracy needs to be cut. That's what this is about. A lot of people are like, why do you care about this stupid squirrel? It's really not about the squirrel. It is about the government red tape and bureaucracy that's taken over our lives. It's about the lack of freedom. It's about, you don't even have the right to love your backyard animals anymore. My hatred for the government is renewed with every Peanut video. I feel that. This is funny. Americans after the government fucks them for decades. Americans after the government kills Peanut the squirrel. The squirrel is this innocent thing. The squirrel and the raccoon, they're these innocent creatures, right? They're not people. And people, no matter how innocent you think they are, almost all people have some shit in their closet that you find out like, ugh, you know? But animals, it's like a whole other thing. I love this meme. This is funny. His name was Peanut. And they killed him, Joe. Killed him like a dog. These are sick people, Joe. They're sick people, and Peanut was totally innocent. But they killed him like it was nothing. You can hear him saying it, can't you? Look at this. It's Peanut in a cowboy hat. Nuh-uh, Flux, shut up. I just got suspended on Twitter for wishing fiery diarrhea on them in rush hour traffic. They said it's violence. No. Come on, can we argue it? How long is your suspension? That's terrible. I mean, Peanut in a cowboy hat. How dare the government murder a squirrel that wears a cowboy hat? So how did you get radicalized? Well, I watched the New York DEC murder a happy and healthy pet squirrel named Peanut for no reason other than some useless apparatchiks had too much power. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. Look at this. The memes are so good. White House monitoring the operation to arrest Peanut. The internet after hearing what they did to Peanut the squirrel. Don't tread on me. So good. I mean, I love the internet. I really do. Did we see this one already?
Euthanized Peanut.
Yeah, we did. That's the same one. David Strom made a good point here, too. He said, why does the Peanut the squirrel story matter? It demonstrates the reality of government. Petty bureaucrats can, at a whim, terrorize people. Nobody was being hurt. Good things were being done, but some petty rule was broken. They mobilized goons and destroyed something good. Yeah. Without having any hearing, no due process, nothing. The squirrels of war. The meme farmers are killing it. Oh my God. Elon. Look at these idiots. Why is the Democratic Party so cruel? Sean McGuire tweeted, blue states seem to care more about euthanizing squirrels than arresting burglars and drug dealers. And Michael Beccarella responded, good. Squirrels did about $5,000 worth of property damage to my house by chewing through some pipes. Blue states are focusing on the true menace. This guy probably buys his wife's boyfriend Christmas presents. That's what I think. All right, so this was interesting, but I don't want to go over this woman. Okay, I can't, here, hold on. I can't redact a tweet, but the woman's name is in here that everyone is blaming for this, and I don't really want to advertise that because we're not sure that she actually did call it in. I can't confirm that yet. I'm sure eventually it'll come out, but I did want to read this tweet. Updated info on the wrongfully euthanized squirrel, Peanut, and raccoon, Fred. Some ridiculous judge did sign a warrant for a squirrel on a called-in complaint for unknown reasons. Reviewing the facts, it's a pathetic case of government waste, overreach, and misuse of resources. These people rescued and raised Peanut as an orphaned kit. They had him for 7 years. The man created an animal rescue sanctuary as a result and had all the application process done, and it was signed. The only thing that waited on approval was an enclosure. This animal was not capable of wild survival. They had tried that initially, but Peanut came back with injuries. Some rescued wildlife is not releasable. This is exactly why rehab sanctuaries will keep select animals after rehab capability is maxed. A few potential reasons: missing limbs, birds with lack of flight, loss of vision or hearing, predators unable to hunt sufficiently, prey unable to evade predators, failure to thrive due to health deficits, captivity, raised lack of survival instincts, conditions requiring ongoing medication. This raid involved making the victims sit outside their home for 5 hours while these maniacs tore up everything. They were denied the right to call legal counsel. Feds went through closets, leaving a complete mess. They broke soap bottles in the bathroom. They took apart this man's toilet upon escorting him before he could use it, because apparently there could be some important squirrel propaganda hidden in there. I'm assuming in the tank. Please make it make sense. They further questioned his wife's immigration status. She's from Germany, in spite of her having all necessary docs and ID. That's the part that really kills me. That's the part that really gets me. Like, where did they get off? Because these psychos descended unannounced and hunted down these ordinary docile rescues in their normal peaceful home, somebody supposedly got bitten. They used that as a justification for killing them, to examine brain tissue for signs of rabies. Let's be clear. They were observed putting on gloves. Was anyone actually bitten? What's really going on here? We all want to know. If you're thinking it's just a squirrel, look at your pets. Do it right now. Why do you think you're exempt from overreach like this? And what's different from your dog or cat? I'm a feline rescuer. I've also rescued other animals to either be rehab released or homed as appropriate. I've been doing this for most of my life. In fact, birds, including baby hummingbird, once. Rabbits, lizards, snakes, dogs. What's the difference? Here, I can put this back up now because we don't have the name there. What's the difference? This is not about permits. He had the paperwork signed. It was in final process. Why do feds, and they weren't feds, they were state agents. Why do state agents have the time and resource for one mother effing squirrel that's not bothering anybody? If they need something to do, I have a few suggestions, some legit tasks first, and a couple of impolite instructions after that. I usually try to avoid posting things that end up in the political arena, but here we are. This is, as far as I'm concerned, a bipartisan concern anyway. So today I'm speaking up. None of us should be okay with this type of abusive home invasion. Do you want to be treated like a criminal, like a drug dealer on your own property when you have done nothing harmful to anyone? I'm absolutely certain that I don't. As a rescuer myself, this hits hard. I've had tragic abuses committed by other organizations that I had to then correct and be the responsible party, costing me hundreds in the aftermath, plus deciding under duress of the situation to adopt as a result. Over the lifetime of a pet, that's thousands. I continue to do this in spite of not having a donation for it in 4 years. So to me, it's an important issue. We talk all the time about being responsible citizens, but when it comes to actually demonstrating it, who steps up? In my neighborhood, it's just me, out of pocket. So yeah, justice for Peanut. This woman, she gets it. Here's the search warrant. It includes the entire 311-acre property for a gray squirrel and a raccoon. So wait, they're looking outside for the squirrel? Aren't squirrels supposed to be outside? Look at this. Signed by Richard Rich. He's the judge. Richie Rich. His name is actually Richie Rich. And by the way, he used to be a family court judge, which could explain why he's so damn stupid. What was it that Judge Judy said about family court judges? That it's a dumping ground for morons and political hacks. That was Judge Judy's fabulous quote. Here's the search warrant. To investigator Joshua J. Crane and any other sworn member of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Division of Law Enforcement, other employees of the Department of Environmental Conservation, deputies of the Chemung County Sheriff's Office, and other authorized persons accompanying them. Wow, they needed a lot of people for this. Including but not limited to members, employees, representatives, application having been made before me by investigator Joshua J. Crane of the New York State Environmental Conservation Police. What a jackass. With respect to entering the property at, redacted, according to documents maintained by Chemung County, the property is owned by Mark, I think his last name is something like that. The property is identified by lot number. The premises is a 2-story white residence with basement and attached garage with several barns and outbuildings on the property, consisting of approximately 311 acres. The residence has a black, are we missing something? We're missing a page. has black something. Okay, then we get up here. It says, but not limited to the residence, basement, garage, any outbuildings, barns, sheds, storage containers, vehicles, open spaces, or persons located on the property. Reasonable cause to believe having been established that property of the kind and character described is unlawfully possessed, and that property that constitutes evidence or tends to demonstrate that an offense was committed in New York can be found at the address, Chemung County, including but not limited to unlawful possession of gray squirrel, black in color, a raccoon, and any other unlawfully possessed wildlife. More particularly, there is reasonable cause to believe that property which is illegally possessed can be found at, and that's redacted. Sounds to me like they were searching for other things too. You are hereby authorized to enter the above listed premises, search and seize all items listed in application, to seize all other illegally possessed wildlife or parts or articles containing parts thereof. What? Or parts or articles? What does that even mean? To enter and search the business between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. and to remain until the work is completed. This warrant must be executed not more than 10 days after the date. Okay. Signed, Dick Dick. That's his name. His name is Dick Dick. Richard Rich. Dick Dick. Unbelievable. Wild animal parts? Yeah, I don't know what they mean by articles and parts. I don't know. But this guy needs to sue the crap out of them. And this is one of my favorite. The pet squirrel murdering at NYSDEC's head law enforcement officer's name is Karen. It's literally her name. And she's wearing this outfit that is so unfortunate. It looks like a German prison guard, if you know what I mean. And here's the Chemung County Police, very proud of their bust. Very proud. And here's somebody who works at the NYSDEC who protected all of her posts, Erica Ringwald. Dr. Sydney Watson weighed in on this. I liked her comment. She said, if you want to argue that Peanuts owners should have a license, fine. But government agencies seem intent on punishing citizens rather than helping them. Want the dude to get a license? Help him. Offer resources. You don't kill a dude's animals over a piece of fucking paper. Yep. That's right. Bridget Fettisty does not disappoint. The fact that Americans are literally like squirrel at the end of this election cycle is absolute perfection. It's true. The memes were so good. We got this one. This one, I don't even know if I can show this on YouTube. It says Peanut would have been safer with literally this guy. And I think you know who that is. I'm not allowed to say his name. Get in garbage. We're saving the pets. If you could just stop killing squirrels, that'd be great. You know, it would be great. Spike Cohen, friend of the program, says, without the government, who would steal your squirrel and kill it? You know, who would do that without the government? We should be thankful for them, because without them, who would do that? Marianne Williamson, she ran for president 8 years ago, I want to say. Marianne Williamson said, I was fine until they killed that cute little squirrel. And John Wick replied, time to go MAGA, Marianne. And this one, my whole day has been thrown off. My plans for the day, going full autist over a squirrel. Yep. All right. So this guy, this is Josh Crane. Ooh, with the scary eyebrows. He's the detective or whatever officer who the warrant was, he put in the warrant application. Look at the face on this guy. Hold on. I got to let's open in a new tab so we can go close in on this because this guy is terrifying looking. Look at his face. Wait. I mean, doesn't he look exactly the way you would envision a squirrel killer who invades your home? That is a scary brow bone. He does kind of look like Uncle Fester. Yeah, Nick M says the ruling class isn't playing around. No, they're going to invade your house and kill your animals. Josh Crane. Josh Crane. I have a feeling that Josh Crane isn't having a great day today. None of these people are having a very good day. So, yep, here's Josh Crane. And, of course, all of the phone numbers that are listed and everything, these are all government offices. They're not private information. This is not private info. This is all government taken from the Chemung County page. And if you want to call them and talk to them over there, you can look them up on Chemung County and you can find those phone numbers. They're everywhere. And let's not forget Fred. Peanut really became a rallying cry here, but Fred's also dead. Fred's dead, baby. Fred's dead. And it's not okay. Here's Judge Richie Rich. Here he is. This is the guy. This is him. And he is at the Chemung County Family Court. What a dick. Now, New York authorities claim cameras outside Peanut the squirrel's cage were not working at the time of death. Where have we heard this before? They Epsteined Peanut. They Epsteined Peanut. We got to look up that. New York authorities claim. We got to look that up. I want to read that. Cameras not working. I think that's probably a joke. But it's still funny. Because I think that was the headline for Epstein. That was the headline for Epstein in the New York Post. It's still funny. I don't believe that that's real. Let's see. I'm going to look it up just in case. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, so it's probably the one from Epstein, which is so funny. Who did this? And then we already saw Fred's video. All right, now here's another one. Now this happened in another place, and I'm not sure what state this happened, but it was 2 years ago. It says, here comes some U.S. government yet again taking someone's pet squirrel. This couple saved this squirrel and was also reported by someone online, just like with Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. The owners cry and plead for the government not to take him. We did save him. This happened 2 years ago, and they were afraid to post the video.
These people are here to take our squirrel.
Stop.
No, I'm not going to stop because there's
It's
no
okay.
good reason for it.
It's okay.
They're just taking the squirrel because some dumbass online turned us into wildlife. We did save it. Excuse me. These people are here to take our squirrel.
Like what but you can have a ferret. Like, what's the difference between a ferret and a squirrel? Is there really much of a difference? I love this meme. Father, issue a statement about the squirrel. Trust me. All right, here we go. Now, here's another story. We're going to go over this story, and then I have another one for you that we're going to read about the horrific acts of the government against little children and their pets. Declaration of Memes says, you're angry about Peanut the squirrel. Let me tell you, the government has been doing shit like this for a long time. You think you hate the government? I guarantee that you do not hate the government enough. Michigan woman charged with caring for wildlife without a permit. Animals killed by state officials. Let's actually read about her. Michigan woman, what's the charged with caring for animals without a permit. Julie Hall. Yep, here we go. All right, Michigan woman charged with caring for wildlife without a permit, animals killed by state. Michigan wildlife officials, this was in 2021, charged a woman for taking care of wildlife without a permit, then seized 6 animals from her refuge and killed them. Department of Natural Resources Lieutenant Jim Gorno said Keiju Farm owner Julie Hall was first warned about a year ago. What happens is the wildlife is raised. Sometimes you let it go. They become a nuisance or even a disease issue here. Last fall or a year and a half ago, there was a tamed white-tail buck that was in the Petoskey area that was causing issues, Gorno said. When it gets to mating season, it can be very dangerous to people and other animals. This buck was found and had to be euthanized because it was a danger to the public. Keiju Farm, known in the community for its work rehabilitating wild animals, was refuge to goats, chickens, alpacas, donkeys, horses, and other wild animals. I don't know what the deer has to do with her. They're not claiming that she's the one who released it, so... The agency got another complaint earlier this year, and on Thursday, wildlife officials returned to the farm. They seized and killed 6 of the animals. Because the animals could not be released, they had to be killed. The animals included a small deer that was taken in the fall at around 2 weeks old, Sassy, a half-blind raccoon with Down syndrome. Oh my God. And Poe, a one-legged crow a child had brought in. Oh my God. That's why the DNR is in place. We have places for these animals. We just can't rehab every animal that we get a call on. Well, nobody asked you to rehab them. She was rehabbing them. I understand that Julie took in everything, but what happens is she has to call us and say she has it, Gorno said. We just don't want everybody to do it and not be inspected because then you're going to have facilities that aren't good for these animals. Oh, says who? They executed a half-blind raccoon with Down syndrome. I mean, what? This just gets worse and worse. Hall was arrested and charged with holding animals in captivity without a permit, a misdemeanor. We put out press releases every spring saying, do not pick up wildlife, do not keep wildlife, do not take wildlife out of the wild. It's illegal and it's not good for the wildlife. Most of the time, it's almost a death sentence for these animals because a lot of them can't be re-released after they're raised or taken by humans. Hall said she was on a waiting list for the permit. She's unsure what will happen now. Oh, so she tried to get a permit, but she couldn't because there was a waiting list. That tracks. All right. Here's another meme. This is great. It says, describe your political leanings. Me for Peanut. The Capitol's on fire. Don't set the Capitol on fire. We don't need any more of that. It's just a funny meme. It's just a meme. And then we had people like trying to shame this guy for having an OnlyFans page. And it's like, no, nobody cares about that. We just care about the government. Ron Rule puts it very, very well. I want a government small enough to have neither the time nor the resources to conduct a 5-hour 5-hour raid over a pet squirrel. Damn straight. Ellie says, meme lives matter. Yeah, I mean, Delia, I can understand the leave the wildlife alone position also. But I think also, like, get out of people's business. Like, stay off their lawn. If somebody wants to rehab a squirrel or a raccoon and they're not bothering anybody, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Squirrels are not dangerous. It's not like the guy had a tiger. He wasn't housing a tiger in his house. It's a freaking squirrel and a raccoon. I can walk outside my door right now and be surrounded by both of them. Imagine what our government would do to Snow White. This is a great meme for those of you who watched oh my god, why can't I think of it? Stargate. You will get this. We are pacifists and won't engage in violence. They killed a squirrel named Peanut. New York must be destroyed. I love Jack O'Neill. Did you guys ever watch Stargate? It was a great show. I think it had like 20 seasons. Yeah, if he had a tiger, he'd have a Netflix show, correct? Oh, there's a prosecutor smoke show from the Leilani Simon trial that Jeff is covering. I made this. He looks like Superman. Am I wrong? Tim Dean, he looks like Superman. Just saying. All right, is that all the peanut memes I have? Okay. This has nothing to do with Peanut, but it is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And I'm just going to play it because today's a political day. So I'm allowed to play some political stuff. Chrissy tweeted this out. This is why people love Gavin.
And Gavin McKinney is founder of the Proud Boys, a far-right organization, designated terrorist group in Canada and New Zealand. So let's get started. We'll talk about Trump and we'll talk about Kamala Harris. So let's start with Trump. Gavin, we'll start with you. So Trump is currently in several court cases.
Watch Destiny's face. Even Destiny cannot help but laugh at this.
Of being accused of rape, election interference, and different things.
Rape? Wow.
Isn't he not? And what do you think of all of this, and why are you supporting him?
I just realized I dislike Destiny quite a bit because he represents this sort of cuck culture. But I realize I hate British people even more. You're all retarded. You're the victims of your BBC government-funded propaganda. Rape?
Look at Destiny's face.
He was charged with rape. One thing you have to understand is our justice system is fucking garbage. Our judges are retarded. So when you hear someone has been accused or someone's going to court or someone was sentenced or someone's in jail, it doesn't mean they're guilty. It means they're victims of lawfare.
You gotta hand it to him. That was funny. And also true. Our justice system is mostly garbage now. In light of recent events, all friend-shaped house pandas will be issued a handgun. Training is optional. I love this. Girls with a time machine. I'm your grandmother. Really? Boys with a time machine. Take this. Find Peanut and hide. They're coming. Oh, man. We know not all British people. Don't worry. I think Gavin was just being, outrageous for the sake of being outrageous. Made me laugh, though. All right. Yeah, this is what I wanted to find. Okay, so Tug tweeted this out. I wonder where he found this. I don't know where this was, but this is a statement from the DEC. Our top priority is the safety. Wait, I feel like I need a different voice for this. We're gonna go with this one.
Our top priority is the safety and well-being of our employees. As you are aware, there have been a number of threats toward DEC and our staff in recent days, and we are taking these extremely seriously.
The letter said, according to a report Monday in the Albany Times-Union. Yeah, they're getting threatened. Well, did anybody kill their pets? I don't really want to hear about it until their pets are dead. Like, I don't want to hear them complaining unless their pets are dead. Nobody killed their pets, so they have no room to complain. And I retweeted that and I said, the government always plays the victim when people catch them doing horrible things. But it's okay to bully the government. Keep doing it. They're not exempt from your disdain and mockery. They raided a house and murdered 2 pets, and they can't handle some strongly worded emails? Fuck that. They're ridiculous. All right. And then I think, yeah, that's the end of my Twitter thing. Okay, so here's what we are going to do now. I have another article I'm going to read you. This is going to make you really mad, but I just want to get it through to you that this is a much bigger problem than just Peanut and Fred. Peanut and Fred are, another illustration of the problem, but this has been going on for a really long time, and it's been done to people and done in the quiet. Like, this one got a lot of attention, but this story in the Los Angeles Times, I feel like I either did read this on a stream once or I meant to read it on a stream and I never got around to it. But this one is going to make you really upset. Except that at least they won in court. After deputies took her pet goat to be butchered, girl wins $300,000 from Shasta County. A 9-year-old girl, get out of here. A 9-year-old girl who fell in love with the goat she raised for the Shasta District Fair was heartbroken when deputies wielding a search warrant confiscated the furry livestock, taking him away to be butchered. 2 years after the scandal erupted, 2 years, you guys, Shasta County has agreed to pay $300,000 to the girl's family to settle the legal dispute over the floppy-eared brown and white goat named Cedar. The young girl had raised the goat for the 2022 fair as part of a program intended to teach youngsters how to care for farm animals. But when it came time to sell Cedar and turn him over to be butchered, Jessica Long's 9-year-old daughter couldn't do it. Long took the goat away from the fair, offered to pay for the costs, and pleaded with the fair officials to let her daughter keep Cedar. Instead, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office deployed deputies, search warrant in hand, to drive hundreds of miles across Northern California to find and take the goat from Billy's mini farm, where Long had taken him until the dispute was resolved. It is not clear who contacted and instructed the sheriff's office to get involved. The case caused an uproar, and in a federal lawsuit, Long and her daughter alleged deputies wrongfully took out a search warrant, seized Cedar, and turned the animal over to fair officials. Attorneys also accused county and fair officials of using law enforcement to intervene in what they said was a legal civil dispute over who owned the goat. Cedar, who was bought at the county fair for $902, was butchered, but it remains unclear who did it. On Friday, U.S. District Judge Dale Drozd approved the settlement that requires Shasta County to pay $300,000 to Long and her daughter. Was it worth it, county officials? Was it worth it to settle the federal suit out of court? Unfortunately, this litigation cannot bring Cedar home, said Vanessa Shakib, an attorney representing Long, but the $300,000 settlement with the county of Shasta and Shasta County Sheriff's Office is the first step forward. The settlement brings about a partial end to what has been 2 years of litigation between Long and Shasta County and fair officials. During the last 2 years, Shakib said, fair and county officials have engaged in obstructionist discovery tactics to avoid answering key questions about what happened to the goat and what role officials played in seizing and destroying the animal. Years later, this case still has several unanswered questions, she said. After 2 years of reviewing texts, emails, phone records, and depositions, Shakib said county and fair officials have yet to make clear who butchered Cedar, what happened to his meat, and who got sheriff deputies involved in the dispute. Text messages uncovered during the federal lawsuit suggest that fair officials wanted to keep secret what happened to Cedar and who was involved. Kathy said, okay, but no one needs to know about this. B.J. McFarland, livestock manager for the Shasta Fair Association, wrote in a text message on July 22, 2022, to Shasta Fair County Executive Melanie Silva. In the message, he referenced Kathy Muse, a volunteer for the 4-H program and an organizer for the county's barbecue. You, me, and Kathy are the only ones. It got killed and donated to nonprofit if anybody asks. We are a nonprofit, laughing emojis, Silva responded. Oh my God, these people are sick. Long's attorneys have argued in court that finding out who killed Cedar and who contacted law enforcement is key to their case. Long and her attorney reached out before the goat was butchered and told Sheriff Fair and county officials they were disputing the ownership of the goat. Still, someone decided to order that Cedar be seized and killed despite knowing a lawsuit was incoming, Shakib said. County officials deny any wrongdoing. The county did nothing wrong, but we recognize the risk and cost involved in going to trial, so we agreed to settle the case, Christopher Pisano, an attorney for Shasta County, said in an email. We are happy to be moving on and putting this case behind us. A spokesperson for Shasta County did not immediately respond to request for comment. Silva, chief executive of the Shasta District Fair, also did not respond to a request for comment. Despite the partial settlement with Shasta County and Shasta County Sheriff's Office, the lawsuit is still ongoing. Oh, good. Long and her daughter still have claims against Shasta District Fair employees and a 4-H volunteer. Shakib said attorneys are still reviewing discovery, including phone records, to try and find out what happened to Cedar. So, just so you know, this kind of shit has been going on with government officials terrorizing people and killing their pets. It's happening all over this country. And it's mostly by these big government people. We have got to stop giving them more and more power. The government needs to be whittled down to almost nothing so that they don't have any time or budget to run around terrorizing people over their pets. It has to stop. Now, I hope that Peanut and Fred's owners will raise a ton of money and be able to sue. And they need to sue the Department of Conservation. And they need to sue that judge. Well, they won't be able to sue him because he gets, total immunity. But they should be able to sue the department, though. Let's get to the super chats, and then I'm out of here. We will be doing Tuesday with Tug tonight, so this is a shorter stream. I just wanted to really get into Peanut and Fred and what happened there, and just encourage you guys to follow the story and make sure that when you do go to vote, you vote for people who want less of this, want less government intrusion in your life, want less government control over your life, because that's what we need. Ninja Puppy, thanks for the 5. R.I.P. Peanut and Fred. Yeah, R.I.P. Roy Lonsinger, member for 8 months. The only difference between the government and a rattlesnake is the rattlesnake will warn you before it strikes. That's true. It's very true. Audrey Little, member for 6 months. Breadstick money well spent. R.I.P. Peanut and Fred. Rogue Mama, thanks for the 2. If you don't license your dog, you get a ticket. I'm going to have to look that up. It's just more reason for the state of New York to get more money. That's all the licensing is. It doesn't make anybody safer. Don't fuck with justice. Thanks for the 2. No response to my 6 FOIL requests across 4 departments. By the way, go and follow Don't Fuck with Justice on Twitter, because she is looking into this situation and has dug up tons of stuff. And listen, I told you, don't be surprised if they don't respond. They have 5 days to tell you whether or not they're going to fulfill your request. And then there's no statutory limit to how long they can take to actually do it. So in New York, you're never going to get an answer. Never. I want the body cam. I want to know why they turned off their body cams. Skipper of Veteran Nation, thanks for the 2. I heard they beat up a beaver on their OnlyFans. Oh, God. Rick Nikita, thanks for the 5. I like how the cops asked if he had cameras in his house. Oh, yeah. Oh, I get it. They turned off their cameras and they wanted to know if he had cameras so that he couldn't take the footage and put it out there. Isn't that interesting? That's exactly why they asked that question. Shade85, thanks for the 2. Sent the email to you. Okay, I will check. Jennifer Woodard, thanks for the 10. Please check into Chemung County. They were part of this whole thing. They shut down a church using an illegal subpoena signed by a veterinarian. Lighthouse Baptist Church versus Chemung County. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Lighthouse Baptist Church versus Chemung County. Well, I will tell you though, and I've said this a lot of times, I very rarely investigate anything that's anywhere near me in this state. I don't come under the jurisdiction of tyrants. I refuse because then they can kick in my door. And so I generally look into things outside of this state. So I don't give them the opportunity to do this to me, which I'm sure someone somewhere would like to. All right, let's look at this real quick. There are news articles. Lighthouse Baptist Church versus Chemung County lawsuit continues in court. This was in 2022. A new defamation action against Chemung County has been filed in New York State Court by Lighthouse Baptist Church. The church says they were treated unfairly during the coronavirus pandemic and had to comply with several guidelines other places of worship did not have to adhere to. The case began in September of 2020 when Chemung County attributed a COVID-19 cluster of cases to the church. Lighthouse Baptist claims the county did this without any evidence, and during the reopening process, the church was forced to observe COVID-19 protocols that went beyond the New York State guidelines. They also claim the identification as a COVID cluster defamed the church and diminished their standing in the community. The Lighthouse Baptist Church felt like they were being treated differently than other houses of worship in the area. Well, that doesn't surprise me, because if you were in New York, if you were a church that spoke out against the state overreach, and if you were gathering anyway or doing any of that, the state came for you. So if they were one of those, they would absolutely, I believe this is true. I mean, I would believe it. Now this looks like, I don't know what this is. Looks like a bunch of documents, certified mail, Verizon, claim numbers. I guess this is the lawsuit or parts of it. Well, this looks like maybe evidence, though. I'll have to look over this. Interesting. Basic rights like the right to assemble changed in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and emergency powers that were granted to the governor and the New York State Department of Health. These powers allowed for several freedoms to be frozen in time, according to Donlan. Yeah, that's true. It was really bad here, you guys. Really, really bad. All right, well, I'll take a look at this later. Thanks for sending that. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Looks like they got an injunction at one point. Yeah, it's not surprising to me though that Chemung County is full of tyrants. You know, it's not all of New York is like that. Hey Joe, thanks for the 10. Justice for Peanut and justice for Fred. Puzzled Puzzler, thanks for the 2. I think it was because the squirrel was black. Yeah, what was it? Because it was a black squirrel? Is that part of it? Because damn. Stop being so racist, New York. Wendy Hoffman became a YouTube member. Welcome to the Fox Den. It's weird in here. But you'll get used to it. And we don't kill little animals here. We like wildlife, and little forest creatures are safe here. So come one, come all. Don't fuck with justice. Thanks for the 10. I showed LE video of a truck that threw a dog onto the highway, clear shot of plates, and they wouldn't make a report. Almost impossible to get government to follow up on animal welfare claims. The math isn't mathing. Yeah, yikes. Puzzled Puzzler, thanks to the 5. Yet in Florida, raising a family and having an animal rescue in a former garbage dump is A-OK. Well, I think we have all kind of discovered that that Florida has a lot of problems. And, you know, it's funny. There's a pendulum, right? The pendulum swings too far one way and then too far the other way. And in Florida, I think you have the opposite of what you have in New York, where the pendulum is just way too far the other way. And so you have no regulation of anything, and you have no You have nothing. And DCF even has no standards. It's incredible. There has to be a happy medium, where you're not invading people's houses and killing their pets, but that you're also not allowing people to keep animals in dirty, disgusting water where they're unsafe and they're not well and they need antibiotics all the time. Or that you're not allowing people to have children that they're not caring for properly, or that they're leaving in a hot shed, etc. It's terrible. Ellie Fan, thanks for the 2. Peanut was a Haitian Hello Fresh special order. What? Oh no. Rosella's Realm member for 2 months. Check your email for Be the Squirrel. Okay. Do I have to do that right now? All right, hold on. I don't have it open. Hold, please. I do not see any email. Did you send it to the right place? I don't see it. Let me make sure you have the right email. You probably missed the dot. Where's my banner with my email? Seriously? I don't have one? All right, I'll make another one. It's meganfox.writer@protonmail.com. There. That's my email. I don't see a new one. All right, Diane, thanks for the 10. And yet they do little to nothing about the global trade of sadistic torture videos of infants and monkeys. Look it up. Horrific. I do not want to look that up. I believe you. Suzanne 7, Imperial Beach, Cali, thanks for the 10. Not the same, but my evil mother and step idiot killed my pet lamb and put him in their freezer while having 2 summer weeks with my bio father. Hateful people. Never forget my George. Aw. That sounds awful. I'm very sorry that happened. SF, thanks for the 2. And just like that, the ATF was interested in the DEC. Yeah. Elephant, thanks for the 5. I want the clip of your dad yelling at us to vote, please, and thank you. Oh, I don't have that as a clip. It's just in the opening. It's somewhere on my computer. I don't think I can find it. Not now, anyway. Sorry. All right, guys. That's it for me for today. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate you guys. It's always a good time. And if you didn't hit the like or subscribe while you were listening, please do it now. I would love to have more of you. We're almost to 50,000 subscribers, and I would absolutely love to have more of you part of the crew here. And you can support this channel just by hitting that like button and subscribing. When we get to 50,000, we are going to have, I'm sure, a really fun party. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. By the way, Flux got her wheel, and I heard Bruce from Oregon got a wheel too. So we're going to have some more fun driving streams around here pretty soon. Now, tonight, I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tug and I will have our usual show. And then I might do some election coverage afterwards. I'm not sure. I got to get together with Tug and find out what we're going to talk about tonight. And then after that, late night election stream, maybe. We'll see. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I got to leave you with something. What song do you want to hear? Let's go with the usual. Let's go with the old ending. We haven't done that in a really long time. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. All right, see you guys.
Lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna stay. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. This time I know my road is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. In my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna stay. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say goodbye.
So I take it that
Johnny's
you've
problem
seen
is he
Tamara
should
Johnny's
come
bedroom
storming
before.
in there with
Yeah.
a string of
Do you
garlic
recall what
and
he
some
went
holy
into
water.
Mr.
And a
Judson's
cross,
first
a crucifix
bedroom?
one.
No.
May the
Do you
power of
recall,
Christ
or no,
compel you.
No, I don't.
He
Sure,
realized
Miss
his house
Hubbard,
was infested with
just up for
succubuses.
that,
And
there's a document of what it, yes. Do you recall whether it was there
Succuloters.
when you arrived in the afternoon? I don't remember seeing it now. So while she
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.
Oh my god.
You-
Your next witness?
Now I know
Witness
why he wanted to drown her.
Laces.
Your next witness lives in Romania.
video.
Is that correct?
That begins